Welcome back to High Guard TV. I'm your host, High Guard Sensei, and I'm here with
Wolfgang.
And you know what time it is? Remember
Remember the decision, though? Giacomo Della Maddalena.
JDM, man. JDM. Look, what I can say about this card is that it was a card that was riddled with decision famine
and horrible judges.
Horrible judging, but at the end of the day, we still got to that bag. Shout out High Guard Sensei. I'm called Sensei for a reason.
This traitor, this scumbag.
I didn't bet. Look, see, we'll get to that later. But before we begin, make sure you like this video and subscribe if you haven't. And let's get to the card. So, on the main event of the evening, Mr. Belal lost to Mr. Maddalena.
Giacomo Maddalena came in and put hands, not hands, plural, on Belal. Belal couldn't get his wrestling going because Maddalena's, JDM's, his stance is so low that whenever he tries, Jack has already blocked off his path, turned around and gotten an exit. Belal, for the first time in his career, got 1 out of 7 takedowns.
Bruh, not gonna lie, yeah, I was surprised. JDM is powerful.
He's
JDM
way better than a lot of us.
He's way better than I thought. I initially, which is one of the things that I fumbled on my predictions, but I thought Belal was going to be able to edge out a decision, he was going to pressure him, but he couldn't. JDM was just too much for him, too strong for him. What did you have the rounds? How would you score everything?
I scored it 4-1. Belal won round 4, but he got his head boxed off in round 5, got knocked around in round 3, pieced up in round 2. That knee that crossed his eye, there's even a massive gash on Bilal's mouth. He cut his mouth open in, I think it was in round 5. Belal just man, shout out to Bilal's chin.
Honestly speaking,
Belal took punches that I thought this. JDM rocked him towards the end of round 5, obviously. Had him shaky legs, and he tried to sloppy a takedown from there, but JDM was just too much. Those scrambles he had with Gilbert Burns, and I guess what his JDM fans were saying was actually true, and he really wasn't having full fight camps and training grappling because he was ready for any form of grappling exchange with Belal.
Bro, I am so shocked. This dude is just so good. This dude also altered the timeline of the UFC because now we're probably going to get Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira while Islam Makhachev moves up and challenges for the welterweight title. But we'll discuss that in a different video because we're still off the hype of JDM!
Hey, I'm actually just glad that, JDM is the one who fought Belal and he didn't fight Leon because he would have done horrible things to Leon Edwards.
I'm telling you.
It would have been bad.
And do you know that it's ironic that Belal's best fight, his most entertaining fight, is a fight that he actually lost? We can't say Belal is boring now.
No.
I can't say Belal is boring anymore.
Belal did have good moments in that fight. He kept his pressure high. It's just JDM showed he was too much for Belal.
Too big,
in the boxing,
too strong,
in the pocket boxing, in the clinch exchanges, he was just too strong for him.
You, man,
and then he neutralized that grappling so well by keeping that stance so low. Belal couldn't take him by surprise. On any shoot. So shout outs to Belal. That was actually very entertaining.
Now we finally remember the day.
I remember the name now.
Hopefully Kamaru Usman beats, Joaquin Buckley, and we can get something. What you guys think, huh? Y'all into this?
Hey,
y'all watch this?
I have one thing to say about that fight.
They're the same age,
I have one thing to say about that fight, that Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman fight before we make a full video talking about it. If Joaquin Buckley hits Kamaru Usman with an oblique kick, they should put him in jail.
I'm telling you, it should be a crime.
That should be a crime.
Usually, I'm not against oblique kicks, but if Joaquin Buckley does an oblique kick against Kamaru Usman,
they should jail that nigga.
Jail that nigga, man. But shout out JDM, World Welterweight Champion.
Giacomo!
Let's get it. So up next, we have women's flyweight. Coleman, the absolute GOAT, another person who proved me wrong. Maybe I need to go and remeditate. Maybe get some things going on.
Get zen.
Get my zen going on as the high guard sensei, because Valentina Shevchenko completely outclassed Manon Fiorot for 25 minutes. I had this 4-1 or 3-2. If I want to be generous, I could give her round 2. A lot of people are saying it's a robbery. I really don't get it. I don't understand how you could look at this as a robbery. Let's say of Valentina Shevchenko. Round 1, she broke her nose. Round 2, round 2 was close, but the most significant strike this girl attempted to land, Fiorot attempted to land, was an illegal knee. Round 3, it's the women's MMA. It's kind of lazy.
Yeah, round 3 was actually kind of
Round 4,
lazy.
Valentina dropped her. Round 5, Valentina boxed the ears off her. So I don't see where...
Even if you're not going to give it a 4-1 like we did, like you have to understand that round 1, where she broke her nose, round 4, where she dropped her, that's a 10-8, and round 5, where she just pieced her up on the outside, that's a solid 3-2.
Spinning back kicks, I don't see where you people would go give Manon Fiorot the win. I don't see it at all.
Manon Fiorot
herself knows she didn't win that. So
Manon Fiorot
herself
came in there to be a second Mario Batista.
I'm telling you.
And lay and pray. She locked into one takedown, and even at that, 0 control time, because the person with the most control time was actually Valentina Shevchenko. She had quote-unquote clinch control time, which is a disgusting thing. That people have started counting.
So I don't even understand, where
she got out-trucked, she got outworked.
So where would you give it to Manon from? I don't understand.
And she's French.
That's what you people get for relying on the French woman. That's what I get for relying on someone that is French, But it is what it is, Shout out Valentina. She's still undeniably the goods. Totally amazing, and it is what it is. Up to the next fight. The fight that made me go and hide in the toilet because of Wolf. You guys, Wolf was bullying High Guard Sensei. Wolf chased High Guard Sensei to the toilet. I had to hide in the toilet. God, this dude.
Look, I watched that fight.
We all watched it. And yes, I agree, it was a robbery. It was broad daylight robbery. Where's my phone? These niggas might come and take my shit too.
Aiemann Zahabi won half a round. Half of round 3. A solid bottom half of round 3. He won that. And they gave him the decision.
Look,
he did not outstrike
Aldo. MMA in Canada. What do you expect, bro?
Do you realize most of his work literally came from the end of that round 3.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything except in that round 3.
But he had more significant strikes
from round 3.
More total strikes
from round 3.
So
because
let's be nice.
Aldo gassed himself out trying to get the finish. And this guy couldn't even finish a 40-something year. Congratulations, you got the robbery decision
against a 65-year-old man. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself. And I hope Chito Vera knocks you spark out.
Oof. Just rest in the fact that Aiemann Zahabi's career is not going to go anywhere. He's pushing for it. His career is not going to. So don't be so upset.
I need Vinicius Lockdog to get on him. For Brazil and for Aldo, I need Vinicius Lockdog to hit him with those knee strikes and those body kicks that he was ripping Said Nurmagomedov with. Vinicius, do it for me.
Okay, fine. So let's just move on. Up
from
next,
Aiemann Zahabi.
Okay, fine. Jesus, Wolf, relax. Okay, so up next we have Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva.
Speed kills.
Now, for all of you don't know, in our predictions video, I actually changed my mind, but we don't have community post,
we need to get up to 500 so we can alert people when we change our minds.
Yeah, you guys just subscribe. Subscribe to our, because actually going back, I actually changed my mind. Natalia Silva is getting this done. And all we can say is, like Wolf said, speed kills.
Speed kills.
This chick just ran circles around her. Oh my God. Another decision anyway, but 4 decisions in a row.
Well, we already have 4 decisions in a row. This card is a serial decision. This is our serial decision
but
family.
Still, Natalia Silva ran around this chick, outstruck her, had more significant strikes. Alexa Grasso attempted 2 takedowns, but he got stuffed. There's not much to say.
Every time
Natalia Silva just better than her.
Because Alexa Grasso was actually trying to stay in the middle. She was pushing forward, but every time she tried to do anything significant,
boom! She gets kicked.
Boom! She gets kicked, and she was. Oh man, she ate she has. I feel like she needs Colgate to wash the taste of Natalia Silva's feet out of her mouth.
But anyway, Natalia Silva proved that she's a future women's flyweight champion.
Definitely.
Because I saw Manon Fiorot today and I'm like, nah, you ain't championship material.
If Shevchenko takes the fight, like I have an issue with Shevchenko where like she's twitchy, waiting for counters, but she's kind of just stagnant.
Yes.
And against somebody that young and
that's
fast.
what she did against Fiorot. She
Yeah, but
in round one just waiting, and then she switched it up for her.
But Fiorot is French, so it would work. But like that's a Brazilian woman who's like really aggressive. So you know.
But anyway, shout out to Natalia Silva for getting it done.
Solid.
Up next we have Benoit Denis, who beat Prepolec. You know, there's not much to say about this. He got the total count.
He got this.
Very easy, very predictable.
I'm just glad Benoit Denis has gone back to doing what he does best. Farming submission or knockout finishes against unranked fighters.
Complete cans.
Like,
but, you know, there's not much to say about this. You know, you totally want the guy.
Sure,
you know,
no problem.
So what we're going to do is that we're going to blitz past the preliminary rounds because, you know, we already talked about the absolute GOAT JDM.
Maddalena.
So there's not much here, but the only thing we're not going to blitz past is that Wolf has to give Mike Mallot his props. Mike Mallot knocked out Charles Radtke. Wolf, give Mike Mallot props. Give him now on High Guard TV. Admit that you were wrong and give him props.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here, Wolf, and I have to admit Mike Mallot hit Charles Radtke with a left hook that knocked the F word out of his mouth. When I saw that left side, fuck! It's over. It's over. I'm not even mad that Charles Radtke lost. I'm just mad that he didn't get to have a post-fight press conference where I know he was going to say it. Like, see, it's like that guy who's like, he has contraband in his bag and he just waiting for the right moment to bring it out. But unfortunately, he got busted by Canadian police, Mike Mallot. So, you know, that ruined part of my evening. And it was really one of the fights I was really excited to watch. But shout out to Mike Mallot. He kept it tight. And he made sure he was at the position where he would not where he would not finish himself by himself. So you know, I'm actually proud. You know that I'm proud of you. You are using your body and your positioning very well. Good on you, Mike Mallot. You're back in Wolf's good graces, and High Guard TV fully supports you in this future endeavor.
Yeah,
so you can't clown yourself.
Yeah, that's what we are. But up next we have Jessica Andrade losing by submission in round 1 to Jasmine Jasudavicius. Let me tell you something, Ba. I said it. I said she could suffer. I told you. I told you this was absolute bullying. This was just bullying. This was bullying. The minute Jasmine grabbed her, the minute Jasmine grabbed her, it was just game over. Like, look at the stats. 4 total strikes landed, 4 significant strikes landed. Jasmine landed 27 on her and submitted her. It's crazy. It's crazy.
No, good shout out to Jasmine, especially considering that Jasmine, I don't know her last name, has actually had a shorter MMA career than anybody in this division. She's been training since she was 26, and that's about it. So she's had about 4 years in MMA, I think. Is it 4 years? She's had a very short period of time in MMA. Like she's not up there in age, but like she has so much time. I think she's 34 now. She hasn't had much time in MMA. So meanwhile, Jessica Andrade had the experience factor and all that and still couldn't get it done against Jazz. I was actually just surprised we had 2 Canadian finishes in a row, which is like, what? That's crazy.
Like 2 Canadian
they saved this
back
card.
to back.
They saved this card from being a complete decision farming machine.
Okay, so up next we have another highway robbery, another broad daylight robbery. Mr. Modestas Bukauskas, whatever his name is, defeating Cutelaba by decision. I honestly don't know how this happened.
Okay, so
Cutelaba outstruck him. Cutelaba had more total strikes
and
had more significant strikes. I don't know how.
A judge had the nerve to give it 30-27 to Modestas.
It's UFC in Canada.
They need to put some of you back in chains.
Of course.
Like, honestly, like, they need to put some of these judges in chains because I don't really understand. I need an explanation for what he saw that was 30-27. And also, if you can justify Modestas beating Cutelaba, then you are part of a terrorist cell of the sport. You are a criminal of the sport and you should be in jail with Mario Batista. But anyway, it is what it is. We don't want to talk much about this. Lightning round finishes.
And then last, light heavy, we have Navajo Sterling getting the decision against Ivan Ersland.
Yeah,
I wonder
to no one's surprise,
you know.
That Marc-Andre Barreholt in the early prelims cracks the head open of Bruno Silva like it's an egg or something. I don't know what he thought was going to come out with those elbows, but he really had him. That was really, really bad. He got stretched out of there. Daniel Santos decision against Lee Jong-young and Beskat Almacan finished Brad Cantona in round 1. So, you know, hooray!
So, yeah, UFC 315. You know, I would say it was a solid 4/10 up until the main event.
Pushed it to a straight 6.
6.5/10, honestly speaking.
Borderline 7. Like,
I give 7 because I'm happy the right person won, you know, because I was seeing some people saying Belal won, and I'm like, where do you people get this from? Where do you guys get this from? But anyway, JDM's the champion now, you know, new era in MMA.
UFC in Australia is back, baby. Double header, Islam versus JDM and
Volk versus definitely not Movsar Evloev. Anybody but him. I'm boycotting that dude. I'm not a criminal at the sport, but
that's for another video.
That's for another video. So we'll get Volk versus probably since they said Pantoja, they will do Pantoja.
No, it's not Pantoja. It's this guy now. Pantera. What's his name? Yair. Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's get him Yair, because they promised Yair a title shot.
So let's just get that.
Maybe let's get that part 2. I'd much rather see that than see that absolute criminal Movsar in the cage with the good Volkanovski.
But anyway,
UFC in Australia is back. Thank you very much for the video.
You guys tell us what you think. Type it up in the comment sections. And you know, High Guard TV Sensei, I still got to the bag. You know, if Manon Fiorot hadn't fucked up and just lost to a 37, almost 40-year-old woman, you know, I'd have been much more richer. But anyway, I still got to the bag. I still get cards. Like I said, I'm good at these predictions. You know, it is what it is. Don't forget to share this video if you like it. Share it with all your friends, your girlfriends, and your JDM fans or Belal fans. You know, and that's the video. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to keep your hands up
and protect yourself at all times.